G'day guys, I got asked a really solid question via email after that review of Saturday's meeting, where I sort of answered some questions as well there. The question is, hopefully it's a quick question, how far would you go back and review races if you're beginning to specify into one betting region? For example, I'm considering looking solely into Western Australia or Hong Kong racing to get a handle on the smaller pool of horses and limited tracks. Would you go back as far as 12 months and begin reviewing races, horses, track patterns, etc.? Try and keep it as short as possible. So what I would do, I think it's impossible to probably go back 12 months. Not impossible, but the time would be insane. If you've got the time, do it. But what I would say the best thing to do is to go back at least 3 or 4 weeks minimum, just to really get a handle on the current horses that are racing and the way the tracks are racing immediately. So like in the immediate past. Then what I would do, it's different. It's not too bad. Western Australia, Hong Kong, you're only doing a couple of tracks, so you can probably go back further, far easier. If you're going to do New South Wales, for argument's sake, it's going to take you a lot longer, and that was probably how I was thinking about it. If you want to do Western Australia, probably go back a bit further, and then what I would do at the very least is go back and have a quick look at, like if it was New South Wales, like I've already got Scone here, the last 180 days of Scone, go back and look at the different rail positions with the different track conditions and note how the track's played. Put some quick notes into your database or whatever you've got, how you've got set up, not hard, in Excel or something, to keep track of track bias and how they play. Just all you probably really want to note is wind, rail position, and the track conditions for the day, and then record how they go. So normally, tracks race in a similar pattern of, where they put the rail. So rail sort of true, then 3 metres it's going, and 3 metres again, 3 metres again. So they've kept it at 3 metres. That might have been up to a feature meeting. They often do that, just push the rail out a bit, especially a track like Scone that doesn't get overly used. And then back to the true, and then I see today it's the true. So 2 meetings in the true in a row. So if I was trying to get ready for today's meeting, I'd go back and try and find something similar. So that's this is the last time it was a true rail. The track conditions officially were a 4. They were about a 2.6. You'd probably expect them to be a bit quicker today than what they're showing. So I think it is a 4, 2.6. So this is probably a meeting I'd go back and have a look at to see how I think the track's going to play. As far as the horses are concerned, a little bit different. So what I would do if it was me and I was doing New South Wales, so as I said, if it was Western Australia or Hong Kong where you've only got a couple of tracks and more limited, you can go further back. But what I tend to do is do the current preparation of the horse. So say this horse, Wiki, I'll go back and look at its runs this preparation and each of them to get a really good handle on how the horse is going. If it's a horse, say, first up, I'll go back and look at its, obviously, trials, this preparation, first and second up last time. Did it have a similar preparation leading into last time? So I can expect, so this horse here, for argument's sake, last time it came in first up, it had one trial, 800 metre trial, then straight to the races over 1,300, stepped up to a mile. So thinking this horse profiles as a miler in the eyes of the trainer. This time we've got 66-day break, so a similar break, no trial, and heading into a 1,400, so you'd expect it to probably need to run a little bit more than what it did last time in, and that's that sort of horse. So that's just one horse out. But I try and like if I'm not up to speed on all their runs, don't have notes for all their runs, I'm going to do their whole preparation. Then I'm going to go back. If they're first up, I'm going to go back or second up, go back and look at their fresh runs last preparation, see if I think they should have been in a similar stage fitness-wise there, or there's any change this time in to sort of take as much guessing out of it as I can. And that's about it. So I would say that, going back, and when you're trying to learn an area, learning the trainers and jockeys is just as important as learning the horses. So going back and having a look at each rider, how they... what sort of horses they're suited on. Maybe if you've got access to statistics, go and have a look and see how well horses, the jockeys, sit in the first 2, 3, 4 on horses. If you're backing a horse that can be up on speed, what's their sort of strike rate on horses back in the field? Watch a few replays of them and get a handle on the jockeys and then the trainers go through and see what if there are any patterns to their training. First up, second up trainers, are they horses that win, that are much more prevalent over sprint distances, or do they, once they get to a mile and further, is that when they come into their own? Knowing as much as you can about trainers, jockeys and horses in the area, if you're doing a small area, is probably where you get your most edge. If you're just watching replays, everyone's watching them. If you're getting to know the area and the participants, at a better level than most, that's, I think, where your edge lies. Getting to learn when their intent is to win, not the jockeys. I'm talking about the trainers. When they're most likely to have intent in their preparation for their horses is a real key to getting an edge over the everyday people who are just watching replays, and there's only so much edge you can get there, other than pace bias and things like that, which take a long time to sort of perfect. So that's probably my idea there. Get to know the idea, get to know the participants, get to know the horses. Don't stress about doing 12 months worth. I think you'd probably burn yourself out before you got to doing a meeting. I'd be much more likely to sort of go back and quickly scan through, looking for biases and track things over time. 12 months is a long time for a horse. It's not really that relevant to me what a horse did 12 months ago to what it did today. Much more relevant this preparation, and if they're starting a new prep, the start of their previous prep, just to try and get some sort of guideline on what you're expecting. Make sure the break's the same too. So if it was a 100-day break last time, is it somewhere between 100 and 150 days this time? If it's 300, again, you're going to add more. They're going to need to be fitter this time around after 300, so need more pre-training, whether it be trials or lead-up runs to get to their peak, as compared to 100. So the answer is complex. I might do something more about it later, but it's a good question. I thought it was worth addressing in more detail. Hopefully that helps. I think the answer to staying in your own lane and doing a small group is really getting to know that whole area intimately, and that starts from jockeys, trainer, then horse. They're all very important. Thanks, guys.